Hello các bạn, mình là Head Teacher tại Courage Ielts và ngày hôm nay mình sẽ làm Speaking Part 2 and 3 Band 9 Sample về chủ đề Cities. First of all, we are going to start with Speaking Part 2. Đây là cue card của chúng ta. Describe a city that you've been to and want to visit again. You should say what city it was, when you went there, what you did there, and why you liked it. One of the best cities that I've been to is Singapore. It's the most modern city in Southeast Asia, and since it has a bilateral visa exemption agreement with Vietnam, I can travel there without having to do any lengthy procedures. I've actually been there twice already, and the public transport system has never failed to impress me. It's extremely convenient and meticulously designed. You can get to any locations around the city through the metro system. Another underappreciated aspect of the metro system was that it was really easy to navigate. There were English signs everywhere on the train. There was even an electric board showing you exactly where the train was heading to and how many minutes left until arrival, so you don't accidentally oversleep thanks to the constant beeping noise. It's difficult even for first-time visitors to get lost. The same can't be said for metro systems in other countries. The bus journey was great as well. What I love most about traveling by bus was how seamless the payment system was. Typically, when I hop on a bus in Vietnam, I have to pay for the fares by cash, but in Singapore, no communication is needed with the bus conductor. You just need to swipe your card, and basically that's about it. When you hop off the bus, remember to swipe it again so it knows how much to charge you based on the distance traveled. Let's not forget to mention the memorable experiences I had there. I went to this place called Garden by the Bay. There were light shows playing all sorts of music from classical and pop songs to themed soundtracks. The thing that blew my mind away was the trees lighting up and synchronizing with the music. What's even better was the fact that you could pay to climb up the tallest tree there to watch the light show from a unique perspective with the crowd standing below. It was a truly magical experience. That's the end of Speaking Part 2. Nếu các bạn thích các Speaking Sample như thế này thì đừng quên ấn nút subscribe và nút chuông ở bên cạnh để không bỏ lỡ những Speaking Sample tiếp theo nhé. Thank you very much for your support. Now, mình sẽ trả lời một số các câu hỏi Speaking Part 3 như sau. First question, what's the difference between the cities and the countryside? The most notable difference that separates urban areas from rural ones is the noise levels. In big cities, especially where the population is densely concentrated, residents are frequently exposed to the sounds of vehicles honking on the streets and the drilling and hammering at construction sites, which can damage their eardrums. However, it's the total opposite in the countryside. It's much more peaceful there because houses are widely separated from one another. There are also fewer housing development projects and, of course, less traffic. Second question, some people say that large cities are suitable for old people. What do you think? My take on this is that metropolises aren't ideal for old people. The urban landscape is specifically designed to maximize productivity rather than comfort. It's great for young people to hustle and find new opportunities, not so much for the elderly who have already retired and need a place for relaxation. In addition, urban living environments can make elderly people feel isolated. Instead of being surrounded by familiar faces, they are confined within concrete walls where meaningful social interactions just simply don't exist. Third question, do you think that it's possible for all of the population to move to cities? I don't think that's a viable plan at all. If that were to be the case, there would be major problems because the urban infrastructure wouldn't be able to keep up with the influx of new residents. Roads would become heavily congested due to the rising number of private vehicles. There would be housing shortages, driving up the price of property to the point where a basic home would be out of reach for most people. While I don't think that there's a real-life example for this, we can look at cities that are extremely populous, like Beijing, where renting a decent apartment is rather difficult for people who live on a basic salary. The fourth question, do you think people living in the countryside are friendlier than those living in the cities? From my experience, people living in the countryside are way more approachable. This is largely simply because rural communities are small and more close-knit. Life is also so much slower, so people are willing to stop and be more open for a casual conversation. It's a whole different story in the cities, as people are caught up with tight schedules and long commutes, leaving them little energy left to interact with others. That's why friendliness in the countryside feels more genuine and effortless. Final question: what should the government do to improve citizens' safety? Well, it depends on which city you're living in. If it's a place where violent crime is rampant, like El Salvador, where criminal gangs once ran the streets and people lived in constant fear, the government needs to take serious measures to crack down on criminal activity. However, if it's a relatively peaceful city like Hanoi, where theft is often the most serious crime, then taking such extreme measures would be unnecessary and even counterproductive. In this case, the government should focus more on strengthening the surveillance systems and increasing the penalties for repeat offenders, and that would probably be enough. Alright, you guys have made it till the end of the video. I appreciate you guys for watching and see you guys next time, alright?